Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the scope and nature of maternity benefit laws, right? So let us start with the topic. This is scope and nature of the maternity benefit laws, which will be which we so we are going to discuss the scope of the Maternity Benefit Act 1961, and this thing which we this act is we are going to cover under labor laws. So under the subject labor laws. So it is one of the important act it is one of the important act which we have to cover, right? So let us have a look at the scope and nature of the maternity benefit laws. Maternity, as the name suggests, is the benefit that every woman is entitled to get as a payment which is payable to her by the employer in her actual absence during the course of employment. Women all across the world have lots of responsibilities and have to go through certain things like pregnancy, childhood, menstruation, etc. It may happen that she has to quit her job to take care of other things. Maternity benefit laws are thus made to help such women so that they can continue to work and reap the benefits, which in turn will create a harmonious environment in the organization. The first maternity benefit legislation was made by the state of Bombay in the year 1929. After this, several other states made similar laws, and soon a need was felt to make a central legislation for women, and then Maternity Benefit Act 1961 came into existence so that divergence between the different acts can be reduced. Maternity Benefit Act 2017. The main objective of the Act is regulating the employment of women employees in different establishments for a fixed period and provide maternity and different other benefits. The Act is an initiative taken by the government for the security of the woman and in a way encouraging the woman to work and to help her in taking care of the child. In 2016, a bill was passed in Rajya Sabha and the bill was passed and the Maternity Benefit Act 2017 came into effect from 1st April 2017, which further proved to be a boon for the mothers. So let us have a look at the applicability of the Act. The Act is applicable to the organizations like factories, mines, and any private or governmental organization. Let us have a look at the salient features of the Act. The Act applies to all the women who are employed either directly or indirectly, that is, by a contractor or an agent, or is working in full term employment or in contractual basis. Right? Section 12 of the Act makes it unlawful if any employer dismisses any woman employer during her pregnancy. In the case of any grave misconduct by the employee, he can take the mandatory steps as per the guidelines and policies of the company. Right? In the previous act, the period of maternity leave was for 12 weeks, but after the amendment, the period of the maternity leave is increased from 12 weeks to 26 weeks for two children. However, for women having more than two children, the leave is for 12 weeks only. So, this is the condition, right? For those women who adopt a child below the age of 3 months, the maternity leave is for 12 weeks, the date of which shall be counted from the day the child is handed to the woman, right? Women may or may not choose to work from home in private organizations depending upon the consent of the employer and the nature of the work after the expiry of 26 weeks, right? It is mandatory as per the act for the establishments having more than 50 employees to have creches within a defined distance. The amended act follows a woman employee to visit the creches 4 times a day. That includes the regular rest intervals, right? Under the Act, it is obligatory for the employer to inform the employees the maternity benefit rules and laws in writing at the time of their appointment. Objectives. Let us have a look at the objectives and need for maternity benefit laws in India. The most foundational purpose for the maternity benefit laws is protecting the dignity of motherhood and mothers, safeguard her and her child's health. Motherhood is the most beautiful time in any woman's life, and it's her right to enjoy it and give proper care to her child, having no worries related to security of her job, right? Further, the ratio of working women in the urban sector has increased remarkably, and there is a need to make a gender friendly labor market, providing a propitious and encouraging environment, and thus it was natural to protect the woman in her maternity, seeing a large number of female employees, right? Maternity benefit laws under Indian Constitution. So let us see what is the position of the maternity benefit laws under the Indian Constitution. There are several laws under the Constitution of India that safeguard and protect the rights of women. Under Article 14, equality of sex is stipulated, where Article 15 provides for equality in employment. Article 13(9)(a) mandates equal pay for equal work. Article 42 stipulates right to just and human condition of work and maternity relief, which is a directive principles of state policy. Right? With this directive principles of state policy, and under the same under Article 46, it is stated that the state should make rules for improvement in employment opportunities and conditions of the working woman. Article 15 clause 3 gives the government the power to make special laws for the woman and under which it passed the maternity benefit act, right? Apart from this, Indian Labour Organization have made certain standards on maternity benefits, which the where the fundamental concern is to provide social and economical security to the woman employees and ensure that no risk is posed to her and her child in any way, right? The stance of Indian judiciary related to maternity laws in India. So what is the stance of Indian judiciary? So this we can understand with the help of decided cases. So let us see what are the important cases here. Municipal Corporation of Delhi versus female workers. This is the case. In this, it was held by the court that it is unlawful to impel a woman employee to do heavy work during her advanced pregnancy, and it can be deleterious. It can be deleterious for both the fetus and the mother, right? So during the pregnancy, so the employer cannot force a woman employee to do heavy work, right? Let's move further. Air India versus Nargesh Mirza, right? So under this, it was decided under the termination and retirement policy of Air India Corporation, one of the mandatory conditions was that on the first pregnancy, the woman employee will be terminated, which was held to be violative of Article 14, 15, and 16 of the Constitution, right? And another important case, Shah versus Presiding Officer, Labour Court, Coimbatore, and others, right? And this, the question before the court was that whether Sunday are to be included in calculating the maternity benefits of the woman. The court held that in order to enable the woman worker to subsist during this period and to preserve her health, the law makes a provision for maternity benefits so that the woman can play her productive and reproductive roles efficiently, right? So with this, we have let us have a look at the crux of this maternity law. This is a Maternity Benefit Act, right? So let us have a look at the crux, the main point, right? With the help of which we'll be able to understand why this act was enacted, what was the purpose of it. So the basic purpose of this act was to safeguard the rights of women during the pregnancies in order to provide her livelihood so that she is in a position to take care of her child financially, right? So Indian government let us have a look. It says Indian government along with the Indian judiciary has always worked for the furtherance of the woman and proper analysis of the Maternity Benefit Act and judicial sensitivity towards this notion, right? It is quite clear that the act is an appendage it is an appendage for the woman. The act has increased the reliance of women both towards the organization they are working for and the government, right? So it says this act has increased the reliance of the woman both towards the organization they are working for and the government. The act has provided a social and economical palisade for women employees, and has created a stable government for the women so that they can contribute their best for the organization, right? So the main purpose is to safeguard the rights of the women, so that women they are in a position to safeguard the future of their child, and they're able to support their child financially also. So it gives 26 weeks of the maternity leave, right? So during which she will be paid her wages, right? Paid her wages, salary, so that she is in a position to support her child financially, right? So now this is it is to do gender justice, right? So that because a woman is the important part of the important part of the society. So because of the woman, the life of every person comes into existence, be it man or woman, a boy or child, right? So woman is the important pillar of the society. So without woman, no society can thrive, no society can survive. So that's why it becomes very important to show that in order to bring gender justice, it was very important to come up with these kind of laws, right? So it is very appreciable that this with the help of this amendment, the gender justice has been done, and even women have been given equal rights at par with men, right? So this act has been made in order to safeguard the rights of the woman and the child, right? And the child in womb financially, with the help of providing the salary up to 26 weeks, right? With certain exceptions which are given under the act. So I repeat, the purpose of this act is to safeguard the rights of the woman and the child in the womb, right? Financially, by safeguarding the salary up to 26 weeks, right? That is till 26 weeks, right? So with this, we have come to the end of this topic. Thank you very much.